General Hospital spoilers reveals a tumultuous and heartbreaking trajectory for Willow as she finds herself increasingly isolated, manipulated, and morally compromised. It is a narrative that hits hard, especially for those who once admired her for her virtuous character. The slow transformation of Willow from a beloved figure to one who will face harsh judgment is an unfolding tragedy, fueled by her entanglement with Drew, her own misguided choices, and the damaging impact these decisions will have on her relationship with the children, particularly the emotional scars she may unintentionally cause. Willow's descent into a morally gray territory begins with the pivotal moment when she becomes involved with Drew. Previously known for her compassion, strength, and caring nature, Willow now faces the cold reality that she has become a shell of the person she once was. Her relationship with Drew is marked by deceit, manipulation, and a complete disregard for the consequences of her actions. Drew, who once seemed like a beacon of hope for Willow, now stands as the catalyst for her transformation. Drew's influence over Willow is undeniable, and his promises of a future together, clouded by manipulative tactics, have managed to push her further down a path of moral corruption. Willow, now emotionally entangled with Drew, finds herself at odds with her former values and the people who used to support her. She chooses to continue her relationship with him, despite the overwhelming criticism she faces from those closest to her. Her inability to acknowledge her mistakes and the damage she has caused is striking. Instead of listening to the well-meaning advice from loved ones like Jocelyn, Willow digs her heels in, convinced that her actions are justified. Her deep-seated belief in the righteousness of her decisions only adds to the mounting tension, creating a heartbreaking disconnect between Willow and those who care about her. The pain of the children in this situation cannot be overlooked. In a particularly poignant moment, Willow is seen using them as pawns in a scheme that she believes will secure a future for herself with Drew. The very children she once promised to protect and care for now find themselves caught in the middle of a battle they neither asked for nor deserve. The innocence of the children stands in stark contrast to the manipulative environment Willow has placed them in. It is a devastating scene that underscores just how far she has fallen, unable to recognize the harm she is causing in her quest to hold on to the love she thinks she deserves. In this new phase of her life, Willow has become a woman who prioritizes her own desires over the welfare of those around her. The concept of right and wrong has blurred for her, and she is no longer the woman who once captured the hearts of the viewers with her kindness and honesty. Now, she is a shadow of her former self, driven by emotions that are being stoked by Drew's seductive promises, which blind her to the realities of her situation. The once sweet Willow is now someone whose actions are becoming increasingly callous and selfish. Perhaps even more shocking is Willow's determination to press forward with her relationship with Drew, despite the growing rift between her and the people she once held dear. Her willingness to cut ties with Carly and remove the children from her life in the pursuit of her future with Drew speaks volumes about how much she has changed. It is a stark illustration of how her moral compass has completely shifted, and her continued refusal to accept the criticisms of others shows that she is not yet ready to confront the consequences of her actions. She remains steadfast in her commitment to Drew, even when faced with the brutal words of Jocelyn, who has become increasingly vocal in her disapproval of Willow's choices. Jocelyn's scorn serves as a reflection of the growing divide between Willow and the world she once knew, and the heartbreak of seeing someone so beloved become so thoroughly unrecognizable cannot be overstated. Yet, it is not just Jocelyn who poses a challenge to Willow's misguided sense of righteousness. Nina, Willow's own mother, finds herself in a position where she can no longer stand by and watch her daughter spiral further down this path. Nina's intervention marks a turning point in Willow's story. As Nina begins to actively oppose Drew's influence over Willow, she enters into a battle not just for her daughter's soul, but for the family that she feels is slipping away from her. Nina's efforts to separate Drew from Willow reveal a mother's fierce love and desperation to protect her daughter, even as Willow remains obstinate and blind to the damage she is doing. The conflict between Nina and Drew intensifies as Nina takes a firm stand against him. Her refusal to allow Drew into Willow's life is a dramatic show of force. However, Drew's persistence and his ongoing pursuit of Willow create a tense dynamic between the two women. Nina becomes resolute in her decision to keep Drew away, but Drew, ever the opportunist, refuses to back down. His determination to convince Willow to stay with him, despite the growing disapproval from those around her, highlights his own manipulative tendencies. He continues to push and prod, seeking any way to remain in Willow's life, even if it means undermining the concerns of those who care for her most. It is during these confrontations between Nina and Drew that the true nature of their relationship begins to take shape. Drew's tactics are not just those of a concerned partner, but of someone who is willing to go to great lengths to control the situation, using charm and persuasion as weapons. Nina, on the other hand, comes across as a mother who has finally found her voice, unwilling to let her daughter be swayed by a man who she believes is not acting in Willow's best interest. The tensions between the two escalate, leading to moments of fiery exchanges that could have lasting implications for both Willow and Drew. But there is still the looming question of how Willow will respond to the growing conflict around her. Will she see the manipulation for what it is? Or will she continue to be blind to Drew's true motives? Will she finally recognize the destruction she has caused, or will she double down on her decisions and further alienate those who once loved her? The stakes have never been higher for Willow, and her ability to break free from the toxic grip of Drew will ultimately determine her fate. One of the most troubling aspects of this storyline is Willow's growing use of her connection to Michael as a shield. She appears to be leveraging her relationship with him in an attempt to protect herself from the fallout of her decisions, much in the same way Nellie used Wiley in her own destructive path. This parallel is disturbing, as it suggests that Willow may be slipping into a pattern of behavior that mirrors the very person she once feared and despised. If she continues down this road, it is not hard to imagine Willow becoming just as ruthless and manipulative as Nellie was, using others for her own gain without regard for the consequences. The specter of Nellie hangs over Willow's actions, a constant reminder of how easily one can be consumed by their own darkness. It serves as a warning. Those who walk down this path rarely find redemption. The tragic fate of Nellie, who lost everything due to her own selfishness, remains a cautionary tale for Willow. If she does not turn away from this course of action, she too could find herself alone and broken, surrounded only by the consequences of her own choices. However, it is still possible for Willow to avoid such a grim fate. If she can recognize the harm she is doing and make a conscious decision to step away from Drew and the destructive path she is on, there may still be a chance for redemption. But time is running out. As she continues to alienate her friends, family, and even her own children, Willow's future becomes increasingly uncertain. Will she realize the damage she has done before it's too late? Or will she become another tragic figure in the soap opera's long history of morally conflicted characters? Only time will tell, but the stakes have never been higher, and Willow's fate remains hanging in the balance.